It's probably around 10:30, Friday morning, second to last day. We worked our way down this ridge right below camp. We were there, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, I guess. We finally think we found a decent spot. We found probably 12 beds or so in probably a 300-yard stretch. Lots of very fresh droppings. And even, a bed with some fresh urine in it. So we feel like we're in the right spot. We don't know if we bumped them out or if they just moved out on their own. But we've got a little saddle below us. And we're probably going to go sit there the rest of the day and just see if they're still in the area, if they're still moving, or even if a deer or a bear comes through. But we're going to move down. There's a trail that goes across the saddle. We're going to move down, set up, sit on that, and probably be there the rest of the day. So there won't be any more updates unless something happens. All right, that's it for now. Just had a bear.
You seen one?
Yeah. Like at 35 yards. Freaking stupid wind has been changing all damn day. Freaking caught my wind. Going right to him. God.
And that's what you called.
Yeah, because I was trying to get him to come back, but once they smell you. Well, another final update from back at camp. We just got back. I don't know, it's probably about 7:30, 7:45. We sat, like I said, got down lower on that ridge, sat there for 7 hours, I think, and nothing until right at about 6:20. A little black bear came through, and he wasn't going to come by me, so there was no time to grab a camera or do anything like that. I just had to grab my bow and go after him to see if I could get on him, and I did. And he was right about 35, 40 yards. I was ranging him to be sure, and boom, just took off for some reason. And sure enough, I checked the wind, and it's going right at him. Where I was at when I saw him, I mean, the wind was 6 o'clock at night, so the wind was pulling downhill as it should be. For whatever reason, where he was at, I don't know if it just switched for a minute or two, but it was blowing right at him, and he was gone. So that was it. And then we had another loud crash, probably 10 or 15 minutes before we left, and never heard or saw anything else. That's it. So we're back to camp. So we got 1 day left. Tomorrow's the final day. Here we go. Saturday morning. It's about 10 o'clock right now. Came into the same place that Ralph and I sat all day yesterday and saw the bear at the end of the day. I mean, just a slightly different spot, but it's the same general area where we saw all the fresh sign. I think there's more fresh sign this morning. I have heard some like snaps and pops around me. I haven't been able to see anything. It's pretty cold this morning. It rained again last night. But it's just like silent, eerily silent. No birds, no squirrels. And there have been a few every once in a while, but for the most part, other than a few snaps and pops I've heard, there's like no sound. I got in here early. I think it was before 7. And I've just been sitting in a few different spots as I've come down this ridge. And I guess the plan right now is to stay here for the day again. We'll see how that turns out. I don't know if it's going to rain again or not. And we'll just see if I can stay here that long. It's a really long day. This is our last day. This is Saturday. So this is it. I'd be thrilled to walk away with even a doe. So I'm really kind of putting all my chips on that. Just to have a doe come walking through and see if I can get some meat. We'll see what happens. Last day. Alright. Finally got a real bull that just started bugling on his own. Sounds relatively close. There's a lot of crap between me and him, so I don't know that he's going to be willing to come. But we'll see. I don't know if I got it or not. I just had a real bull bugle. For sure, 100%. He bugled twice. I called to him. And as I was trying to find a spot to set up, I got set up. I started calling again. I looked down, and there was an elk 70 yards from me. As far as I know, it was a cow, but I couldn't get the damn camera turned on. You know, I'm trying to call. I've got my bow. I mean, self-filming and trying to shoot a bull with a bow is, it's pretty much impossible. So I didn't get video of her. I'm like 90% sure it was a cow. The thing that was weird about it is it was muddy. But I saw no antlers and I saw its head. So I don't know if maybe I missed it because the light was wrong. Or what. Maybe it's just a dark cow. I don't know. But ever since that cow walked off, it didn't like bust. But I think it saw me moving. It definitely didn't get my wind. But ever since it walked off, no more bugles. So awesome that I finally had an interaction on the last day, afternoon of the last day, but finally saw an elk and had a real bull. But I don't know that anything's going to come from it. Starting to feel like if we had a couple more days, it might actually put this puzzle together, but that's not the case. All right, now that everything's calmed down, I think I've had a chance to figure out what transpired. I'm on the spine of a ridge, so looking down. And I've been watching down below me and off to the sides. And so when I heard the first bugle, I did think it was a little bit down to my left. I couldn't tell exactly, but that's where I thought it was. I knew it was close, and it was close enough to tell, yeah, that's a real bull. So I did a couple of soft cow calls, just to be sure. And then, like 30 seconds later, however long it was, boom, he fired off. And it's like, yeah, that's a real bull, and he is closer. So then it was scramble mode. But when I heard that second bugle, I thought it was down to my right. Like, I thought they were traveling. I thought, it was probably a small group of elk. They were traveling, and I thought they were down to my right now on this side of the ridge. So I'm in scramble mode, grabbing my camera, tripod, bow, my calls, and trying to find a place to set up. And I'm sitting here because I can see a lot. But the problem with that is it's not a great place to set up because, they can see a lot too. So I found a little spot, but I moved over to the left side of the ridge thinking he was down here. I don't have a caller. I'm by myself. Ralph stayed back at camp. So I'm thinking I got to pull him. I got to be where he can't see me. So I got to pull him up over the ridge, make him come up to see me, and that's when hopefully I'll get a shot. So I drop over to this side a little bit, keep calling. And as I'm setting up the tripod, doing the legs, I'm still trying to call. I'm looking, but I'm looking primarily down this way to see or hear if I hear any branches snapping or whatever. I got my bow. I'm trying to get an arrow knocked. All that stuff going on. For some reason, I look down. I'm facing this way. I have a tree right here, and I look back behind the tree, and there's an elk standing at 70 yards. At first, I'm like, what is that? And then I'm like, oh, it's 4 black legs. And then I see the body, and it's covered in mud, or it's, muddy. And then pretty soon I can see the whole thing. Well, I'm thinking that's a cow that has just come into the cow calls, and that the bull is still over here. Well, whatever it was, it saw me moving. I had a tree here, but it saw me moving. I was doing the legs on the tripod, and I was calling, and I'm looking, and so it saw me moving, and there wasn't any other cover up there. So it spun. It didn't take off running. It just kind of did the trotting thing, and then I think it even stopped and looked back. Maybe, I don't remember if I called or not, and I could see the whole thing. So at that time I'm thinking it's a cow. Like, I didn't see any antlers, but I did think it was weird. Like, why is the cow covered in mud? Anyway, all the bugling stopped, right? So after the fact, I'm sure that was the bull. I just didn't see his antlers in the trees. That's why he was covered in mud, and he was there now. And I had just misinterpreted it, misjudged it. I thought the bugle came from this side. It came from probably the same place, or just closer, the same place I heard the original bugle. So I set up wrong. And that was it. I blew it. But that was the bull. And I think he was by himself. But, based on the fact that he's bugling on his own right at noon, and that, he was here in a heartbeat. I think if I had to set up right, there was a good chance he was going to come right to me. But I misjudged the bugle and set up wrong. And, it's day 8, right? We've been going pretty hard. We've been putting lots of miles on. Like one day was almost 10 miles. And most of the other days have been, 4 or 5, but it's a lot of elevation and soft trail and wet, rainy, soaking boots, the whole thing. So it was pretty tough to get out of the tent this morning. And I told myself, listen, if you can just get eyes on a real elk, I didn't even really think there was real elk left in this unit with the amount of hunters here. I counted them up real quick, and within a mile radius right here, probably not even that much of a distance, there's around 25 hunters. And we're all right on the line, so everybody has to hunt the same direction. So every morning, it's like an army of people bugling. And some of these guys are really good callers. I'll give them that. I'm having a really hard time telling, is that real or not? They're really good. But it's just nonstop bugles in the morning. And, 99% of them are hunters. And if you do hear a bugle that sounds real, it's an army of people converging on that one spot. So, that's why we took 2 days earlier this week and just went into the other unit just to get away from everybody. Still had a chance to shoot a bear or a buck. And just were able to actually hunt elk, even though we couldn't shoot them. We're actually able to experience it. So I told myself when I got out of bed this morning, if you can just put eyes on a real elk, that would be a win. Well, I did, and it doesn't feel like a win. It sucks. Because I think that bull was coming in. He would have come in if I'd have set up right. That could have been an opportunity. Man, that is a tough pill to swallow. It's 1 o'clock right now. I don't know. I'm debating. I did a whole bunch of raking and bugling and glunking and whatever I could think of to try to maybe get that bull pissed off or get him reinterested, and there's been nothing. So I don't know. I'm debating, do I stay here the rest of the day and see if something happens in the evening? This is the same place I saw the bear. They're clearly here. There's a extremely fresh pile of elk crap right there. And this is the place. This is why I've been here 2 days in a row. This is the one place where I've found sign. So they're in here obviously, but I don't know there's that many. I don't know if any more are gonna come back through. So I don't know. Do I sit here for another freaking 6 hours? A deer could come through too, but man, I haven't. Other than I think the first full day of hunting, seeing the 2 does, we haven't seen a deer over in this area. So I don't know. Got to do some thinking, lick my wounds, figure it out. That's it for now. Well, I think that's going to be the end of our 2024 season. It's a little bit after 5. I probably have a good solid 2 hours left that I could sit out here, but it's day 8. I'm done. My feet are cold. They've been wet for 3 days. My body's feeling it. I had a chance today. Something, could have really actually happened, and it didn't. So I think this is it. So, this season was all about rolling the dice and knowing that we don't have an unlimited amount of seasons left to do this. So wanting to switch things up and try to go after some bugling bulls. And it just didn't turn out the way that we hoped it would. Not because we didn't get a bull, but because, we thought we were going to be in an area that was, not very pressured. And it was the complete opposite of that. So I'd be lying if I didn't say that was disappointing, but you know, the rest of it is awesome. You know, we got to spend a week in the woods. We had some great interactions with some bulls, even though we couldn't shoot them. Had a, you know, close opportunity with a bear last night, and then, you know, had a chance for a last minute bull today. Just screwed it up. So it was a great trip. We have got a long hike out of here with some very heavy packs. So, you know, I just want to get back to camp, start getting my stuff organized, get to bed at a decent time so we can get a full night's sleep so we are ready for the long journey out. But I think this is probably going to be it. I'm not sure how much I'll film on that pack out, just because, you know, it's gonna be a grueling one. So this is it. 2024 Archery Elk season in the books.
Cap says, cheers.
Cheers. 2024 Archery Elk season in the books.